Welcome, welcome to 100 Yards of Football this evening. It's our NFL Draft Prospect Special. Today, we're going to highlight Rondale Moore, wide receiver out of Purdue University. If you like the video this evening, please comment and share it. I'm your host, Vincent Turner, and joining me today is one of the most talented guys when it comes to scouting these players at a high level. His name is Daniel Kelly. He got his first job with the New York Jets back in 1997, and he was with the staff that was with Bill Parcells and Bill Belichick, two of the greatest that ever done it. And he was last on the list as getting the GM job with the Cleveland Browns back in 2017. Very talented guy to Key West, Florida. So if you like the video today, please come and share it as we highlight Rondale Moore, wide receiver out of Purdue University. So Mr. Kelly, tell us about Rondale Moore, Purdue University.
Thank you, Mr. Turner, and thank you for having me on the show as always. Rondale Moore, who says that, small things don't come in good packages, right? I mean, this guy's 5'9", 180, squatty, compact build. But I want to talk about his thighs. I want to talk about his upper legs for a moment. This is a guy that can squat 600 pounds. This is a guy whose legs are built like almost like a running back. This last year, he was a guy that opted out and opted back in. 35 receptions, 270 yards, 7.7 yard average. Really, what did the legs translate into? They translate into good playing strength. And for a moment, I want to unpack what playing strength is versus just regular weight room strength. Playing strength is what you see on film, what you see on the field. And that's something that he has. He excels at catching those bubble route screens, those receiver bubbles, those short screens that many offenses in the National Football League run. A corner better bring it when he catches that little bubble, because if you don't wrap him and tackle him, he's going to keep running until you can catch him. With legs like that, he is going to keep on running. He's a guy that's more quick than fast, Mr. Turner, in terms of his playing speed. And like Bateman, he knows how to find the openings. He knows how to find the soft spots and coverages to be able to find his place to catch the ball. He's very confident in his hands as a young man. He plucks the ball with his hands. You can tell the confidence that he has. He gives yards after the catch effort, but I personally like Bateman more in that category, but he does give the effort. And like I said, if you don't bring it, if you don't wrap him, he's going to keep on running. He's also got impressive return value as a return specialist on special teams. This guy, Rondale Moore, has a flair for the dramatic, but as being a scout, I will let our listeners know this, and this is very important to grab a hold of for those of you out there who would like to evaluate. Being a scout is more than just watching the film. Being a scout in the National Football League is about being an investigator. And what I mean by that is there's more to evaluating than just looking again at the film. It also includes background information. When I worked at the New York Jets with Coach Belichick and Coach Parcells, they had a saying around our building: we're in the information gathering business. And that's a big part of this. So for me to have Rondale Moore on my personal draft board, I need two questions answered before I put him up on the wall. And those two questions, number one, I want to know about the injuries, the leg injury that caused him to miss the final 8 games of the 2019 season. That is a question mark for me I need to have answered. Since his game is so much based on his quickness, I need to see what's going on with that and look into that more extensively. But even more than that, I need to know what happened last season here with his absence, his extended absence, Mr. Turner, and to our listeners, which was kept kind of quiet. Even Coach Brome didn't have a whole lot to say about it. He disappeared for 2-3 games, and when Moore came back, he actually read a piece of paper. He read off a piece of paper and talked about, make a quick statement that it had something to do with the hamstring. I'm not personally buying it. I need to know more information or exactly what was going on. I'd have to have that answered as well. But, and also couple that now also the social media is becoming a big part of the evaluation process in the National Football League. More and more teams are employing young scouts to look through guys' social media. When you go to Moore's social media Twitter page, he's got over 17,000 followers, 17,500 followers to be specific. And he has 23 tweets is all he has on there. Nothing between the months of May in December of this last year when that incident happened. I need to know the old saying, where there's smoke, there's fire, Mr. Turner. There's enough there as an investigator, as a scout, that I have questions. On the field, no question about it. He can do it. No question at all in my mind. Draft projection, I need to have those off the field questions answered because there's some real gaps and spaces on his timeline and social media that need to be accounted for in his mind. Draft projection on my boards, I say he slides to late in the first round, early second. Maybe a playoff team will grab him. But if these questions go unanswered, I think he slides even more into the second and third rounds. Your thoughts, Mr. Turner, on Rondale Moore?
Okay, like I said, let me start with his skill set first, and then I understand where you're coming from a GM perspective and a team perspective. I like him because I think when you look at him, I'm going to give him a nickname, change of direction. I think he's one of the best players I've seen that can change, boom, make that first move, and he's up the field. Explosive football player. I know it's injury concerns because he's only played 17 games in his career, but 1,861 yards. He's a guy that can be a game changer in the right offense, especially in the slot. And another thing I love about him, I'm just talking about his skill set right now. If you look at his skill set, he comes from a school, Purdue University, that's had some great offensive players at the quarterback position and on the outside. Quarterback position, you're looking at Lenny Dawson came out of here. Bob Greasy, Super Bowl champions. Mark Herman, Jim Everett, Gary Dowlinson, Drew Brees. We know how their career went. Otis Anderson from the running back position. Vinny Sutherland, Larry Burton. So he's come from a school that's had the tradition of producing great offensive players. Then the thing that I love about him, I looked at it again last night. I've looked over it 12 times. I'm going to go back to October the 20th, 2018, against the number 2 ranked Ohio State Buckeyes. And in that Buckeye secondary, they had Jeffrey Okua, who last year in the 2019 draft went 5th pick overall first round. Then they had Damian Arnett, who went 19th in the first round. Then we know how Sean Wade, a player he is, because he's going to go high in this draft. And Mr. Moore put 12 and 170 on them in 2 touchdowns. They could not handle him. Then when I look at Mr. Moore, he can be that same type of impact player like Henry Ruggs, who came out of Alabama, went to the Raiders this year with that speed. I'm talking about within direction and within the slot. And he reminds me of, I'm going to give you 2 names. Remember Terry Metcalf with the St. Louis Cardinals back in the 70s?
Absolutely.
And remember his son, Eric Metcalf?
Oh, I sure do, with the Cleveland Browns. Absolutely.
Yes, sir.
Number 21.
But I understand what you're saying. As far as your other concern, you got to look at it now, man. It's a different time than it was the last 10 or 15 years. These guys are very, very visible on social media. They got a lot of people in their, I want to say, network that might not need to be in their network. I understand where you're coming from, but I'm going to tell you this. With that Terry Metcalf, Eric Metcalf skill set, I think he'd be worth a gamble. And if you being the GM, I think if you sit Mr. Moore down and really try to find out what happened there, I think he'll give you a credible answer. But I like the kid. I know there's concerns. I got him like you listed late in the first round. But if you can get them concerns out and get past his injury history, and I know that's the biggest concern, I think that you got a football player that can be on the same level as Tyreek Hill, who's right now going to play in the Super Bowl this week, in an Eric Metcalf. Final words about Mr. Moore, Mr. Kelly.
Yes, Mr. Turner. I couldn't agree with you more. I think everything you're saying is exactly correct. If they get those questions answered to a team's satisfaction, well, then, yeah, I think he's a guy you do take a gamble on, especially late in the first. That's why a lot of these guys will slide into late into the first round. And teams, the playoff teams, the rich will get richer. Somebody will grab him, play at a very high level. Does he have the skill set? Absolutely. Again, my big thing is what I see off the field. And those, like I said, again, not to sound redundant, but if those questions can be answered, send the card in.
My final words about Rondale Moore is plain and simple. I like the kid, 5'9", 180, as Mr. Kelly say, explosive football player, big legs. I'm going to leave you with this. Like the great Ohio player said back in 1975, I think Mr. Moore's going to be on fire. Dun, dun, dun. So, Rondale Moore, get your other issues cleared up, and I think you can go in the first round. If you like the video today, please come in and share it. Thank you to the most talented man when we talking about scouting players at a high level, Mr. Daniel Kelly out of Key West, Florida. We enjoy you this evening watching us here on 100 Yards of Football. Enjoy the evening. And as I always end the videos, I'm Vincent Turner, a.k.a. the only son and the baby boy of Chester and Inez Turner out of the 901. God bless and have a wonderful week.
God bless you guys. And again, I'm a talent evaluator, not a singer, so better you than me. Have a good one, our listeners.